Let's look at what options you have if you continue to work past 65 and your initial enrollment into Medicare. Stay tuned. Hello again, friends. This is Andrew with another Medicare update. Now, deciding whether to enroll into Medicare or stay on your group health plan is one of the most important decisions you have to make when enrolling into Medicare for the first time. Well, let's go into my desktop and look at the four most common scenarios I run into with people who decide to continue to work past 65. If you and your spouse are with a company that has 20 or more employees, then your group plan will pay first and Medicare will pay secondary. This means that your group plan will pay the majority of the bills and Medicare will pay little and sometimes nothing. Now, since Medicare is not paying much, should you enroll into it? Well, Medicare has two major parts: Part A, or hospital insurance, and Part B, or medical insurance. Part A is usually free, so even if you have work coverage, you should consider enrolling into Part A, because there is a chance it may pick up some of the bills your group plan does not. There is one situation where you do not want to enroll into Part A, and that is if you have a high deductible health plan with a health savings account. This is because you cannot enroll into Medicare Part A and have a health savings account at the same time. So in this situation, you would want to delay enrolling in Part A of Medicare until you retire. What about Part B of Medicare? Well, Part B of Medicare does have a premium, and for the majority of people, it is $134 in 2017. Now, most people that work in a company with 20 or more employees usually decide not to enroll into Medicare Part B until they retire, so they do not need to pay this monthly premium for Part B. When they finally do decide to enroll into Medicare Part B, they will not have to pay the Part B late enrollment penalty if they can prove that they had credible health insurance before they retired. Now, if your work insurance is expensive or the coverage is not as good as Medicare, then you may want to look at signing up for Medicare instead of keeping your employer coverage. You just have to weigh the cost and benefits of both. Just make sure to take into account all the parts of Medicare. This includes Part A, Part B, a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage plan, and also Part D, or your drug coverage. And also make sure to consider your spouse's coverage when comparing the two. Most often, your Part D drug coverage, cost, and finding a health insurance for your younger spouse are the two most important factors when comparing your employer coverage to Medicare. And always make sure to work with a Medicare agent like myself and your benefit or HR department at work so that you can make the best decision. If you and your spouse are with a company that has less than 20 employees, then Medicare will pay first and your group plan will pay secondary. You will most likely have to enroll into Part B before your employer's insurance pays anything. Because if you don't enroll, your employer's plan can refuse to cover you for services that Medicare would have covered. That means that you may have to pay for those services out of your own pocket. Now, it is important to ask your employer's insurance company what kind of gap coverage it offers as a secondary payer to Medicare. Smaller plans often limit the choice of providers. Now, unless your younger spouse needs coverage, you are probably better off buying a private Medigap plan to cover what Medicare does not. But again, you will need to compare the cost and benefits of both, and work with a benefits and HR department and an agent to go through all of your options. With Cobra and retiree coverage, Medicare will pay first, and these two will pay secondary. Retiree health plans and Cobra differ on the amount of gap coverage they provide after Medicare pays first. So much like with plans with 20 or less employees, it is a good idea to check with the benefits administrator to see what would be covered by the plan after Medicare pays their portion. Again, you may be better off with a Medigap plan instead of Cobra or retiree coverage, but you will need to weigh the benefits and costs of each. Now, if you delay enrolling in Medicare Part B, it is essential to enroll in Part B as soon as you are no longer employed. It is the end of your employment that determines your enrollment period. Now, if you're older than 65 when you leave work and miss your 8-month special enrollment period, you could end up having a gap in health care coverage, and this is never a good thing. Medicare Part D covers prescription drugs. Even if you choose not to enroll in Medicare Part B, you can still enroll in Medicare Part D. And doing so may be a good idea to avoid the late enrollment penalty similar to the one for Part B. If you already have prescription drug coverage through your employer, and if it is credible coverage, then you would not have to pay a late enrollment penalty if you decide to switch to Medicare Part D later. Now, just like signing up for Part B, you may be better off going with a Medicare Part D prescription drug plan rather than continuing your current employer's drug plan. But always make sure to ask your employer if you can drop your drug plan coverage without losing other insurance. Once the insurance is gone, you may not be able to get it back. Deciding what to do with your health coverage if you continue to work past 65 is different for everyone. And I really just covered some of the basics. So make sure to work closely with your employer and a Medicare agent to find out and decide what might be best for you. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about how Medicare works, make sure to check out another one of my videos about turning 65 and enrolling into Medicare for the first time. And please like, comment, and subscribe as soon as this video ends so we can help more people.